Well, today's going to be a multiple project day. As you can see here, I'm still waiting on the chrome pieces to put the front end back together. So while I've been waiting, I went ahead and put the body on so I can start doing other things. I started, I mounted the master cylinder underneath. I got the steering box mounted. I went ahead and made all the brake lines front and back. I got the line lock put in here. You can see the front brake lines here will be underneath the radiator, so you won't see none of that. Here's the brackets I welded on for where it goes stainless lines to the front wheel. There's one on each side. Been busy working on that. And today what I'm working on right now is this steering column. You can see where I had to modify it to fit around the modifications I made to the floor so I can fit the scatter shield on the transmission. Well, the problem I got is my leg is just tight between the steering wheel and the side of the door panel right here. So what I did was I cut the welds 3/4 of the way around here on the bottom, and I bent this over towards the center a little bit. So that'll give me about 1 inch of clearance between my leg and the steering wheel, and a little easier to get to the brake pedal. Another thing, when I bought the car, the steel plate was just bolted to the plywood floor. So I went ahead and welded tabs underneath on the frame rail, so at least 2 of the bolts are going to be bolted actually to the frame rail to help support the steering column. So that's what I'm working on right now. Another issue I had was when I bought the car, it didn't have turn signals. So I went ahead and bought one of these universal turn signals. But if I mount it anywhere up here on the steering column, I got no room again. So what I think I'm gonna do now, I've been looking at this, is mount it up underneath the dash somewhere in here. And then I'll rewire it so when the lever goes left, you know, it's left, and when it goes right, the right turn on. That way I can see it and it's way out of my way and it won't be in my way for anything. You can also see I got all the gauges out. When I bought the car, it came with a speedometer that didn't work, but it didn't have a tachometer. Well, I need a tachometer. I don't need a speedometer. So I'm gonna make a new dash, a piece of wood, make a new dash, and then remount everything. Luckily, the gauges for the water temperature and the oil pressure were Stuart Warner mechanical gauges, and they were real nice gauges. So I'm gonna go ahead and reuse both of those and just get a tack to match. But it's just more stuff I need to do. And also I went and I bought this small starter panel with an ignition switch, a button to start it, and then some auxiliary switches, which I'll use for my water pump, my electric fan, and probably, I might even put the line lock on the 3rd switch. I'm not sure yet how I'm gonna do that. But that's what today's project is. Let me get started. I'll keep you updated. Appreciate everybody watching. Well, here's an example of how little projects turn into big projects. Earlier I said I had cut the bottom of this with the angle grinder, and I moved the steering wheel over about 1 inch to give myself some more leg room. Well, when I took it over here to my welding table to weld it, obviously it got hot. And I figured it was going to burn the paint off from the heat from the welding. But what I didn't count on was whoever had the car before me used a whole bunch of Bondo on that column because it had a lot of surface rust on it where it was really pitted. It's probably an original 1920s or 30s steering column. And all the Bondo melted. So then I ended up fixing the column, and then obviously I repainted it. But instead of taking maybe an hour, it ended up taking me about 3 hours. Also this afternoon, I got some good news. I got a bunch of parts in. I got the solenoid, a shutoff switch for the power fuse panel, some relays, some wire came in, and more important, my zoomie pipes came in. I had them made by Wolf Aircraft in Michigan. 2¼ inch, 304 stainless. So now I've been over here, I set me up my buffing wheel on the table, and I've been practicing on this one here. I'm gonna polish them before we weld them together. It'd be a lot easier to polish them all now. And then once it's all welded together, all I gotta do is repolish where the welds are. I think that'll go make it a lot easier for me polishing. And also, I don't know if I showed this or not, but the stainless steel flanges came in, and I ordered them with 3-inch stub outs to go from oval to round. So all I got to do is butt these pipes up against them, set the angles, and weld them. It should make it a lot easier. Now, I'm going to get back to buffing. Well, this morning I got a hold of the chrome plater, and he says it's looking like another 3 or 4 days before I get my front end parts back so I can start putting everything back together. So in the meantime, I've been working on my zoomies since the pipes came in. You can see here I got 3 of them polished already. Taking about an hour a piece to do them. I got my little setup here. I mounted a board to the table and got the polisher away from the table so I can move the pipes around. Part of the problem it's taking so long is this seam you see right here. I'll get close so you can see it. If I try to buff that out, it takes forever. So it's easier for me to use that palm sander, orbital sander, use a little bit of 600, get it smoothed out and polished so you don't see it, and then start buffing from there. Seems to help a lot, speed it up, and from the 600 sandpaper to the coarse wheel on the buffer, it'll take the scratches out. So it's working pretty good. It's just taking a lot of time. And then in the meantime, while I get tired of buffing, I've been coming over here working on this electrical panel I'm making that I mount underneath the seat. When I bought the car, it didn't have any relays, but now I'm running an electric fan, electric water pump, and I'm going to use another relay for the starter circuit. So I've been buffing a little bit and then coming over here and working on this panel. Go back, buff a little, come back, work on the panel. Well, let me get back to work. Here you can see this one here is the way it came from the factory. You can, I don't know, you can see the seam or not, but anyway, this one is sanded with 600. You can see it took the seam, that line, took it out, and this one's been polished one time with the coarse wheel. I usually go twice with the coarse and then twice with the fine. So let me, I was going to do this one on the coarse and let you see what it looks like. Let me go set the camera up and I'll show you quick. I don't know how good that's going to show up on the camera, but basically I buff the corner first, then I do the end. I do half the long section, then the other half, and I do it twice each time. So it's taken a little over an hour, hour and a half each pipe. You can see it takes the scratches out from the sander, and then I'll do it one more time with the coarse polishing wheel, and that'll be it. Well, after spending most of the afternoon polishing, my arms got tired, and I decided to stop on the polishing and start on some of the electrical work. You can see here how good it's going to show up. Anyway, I got 4 of them done, and I went yesterday afternoon, a little bit this morning. I finished up wiring my fuse relay panel. Come out pretty good. I got it mounted. I stuck a battery in there. I was doing some testing. I got the taillights wired in already. I'm working on the front turn signals because they're part of the body. Anything that's part of the body that I could lift off with the body and not unhook, I'm going to try to get wired up today and maybe work. I got the board to make the new dashboard. I might get started on that today too. Appreciate everybody liking, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.